Alright, finally, last planet. Well, as far as we know, how many planets there are, anyways. Um, Neptune. Ah, man. So this is really funny. I've been studying astrology for a couple years now, and actually going on my third year of major study. I've always been predisposed towards it, but I've been readily studying it for, I mean, literally day in, day out for these past couple years, and it was literally only been, I would say, in this last month, maybe even less, maybe 3 weeks. It was recent that I feel like finally I understand my Neptunian energy, and have integrated it in my life. After studying my chart for so long and feeling like, okay, I have a good handle on all these different energies and how they play in my lives and whatnot, it still took me this long to figure out Neptune, which is so funny considering Neptune is the planet of a lot of things, really. But it's said to be the planet of deception, the planet of uh, spirituality, metaphysics, addiction, escapism. It's a mysterious planet, and I have to say I really think it's hilarious that it took me this long to finally, pin down this energy in my life. So, Neptune. It's very interesting to me at how nebulous this planet's energy is in our lives, and at how it has such incredible. In fact, out of all of the planets I can think of, maybe it might be tied with Pluto for this, but of all the planets I can think of, it has the most potential for good and the most potential for challenge at the exact same time. When Neptune is involved, it's absolutely incredible what the higher vibrations of this planet has to offer. And when it's involved in at its lower vibrations, it's also incredible and very tragic, at what it can lead to if we're not conscious of it. There's never planetary energy or any energy at all that forces us to go down destructive paths or anything like that. Now, obviously, there are energies with challenges involved, but it all comes down to our awareness and our effort, really our discipline. Can we integrate this energy in our lives? Yes, we can. It's just a matter of actually doing it. So, let's explore the composition of this planet. Neptune is very much like Uranus, that has a terrestrial core, rocky core, and a liquid, if I'm getting this right, a liquid mantle of helium and hydrogen, I believe. Essentially, very different to the gas planets of Jupiter and Saturn, and certainly different to the fully terrestrial planets such as our own Earth, Mercury, Venus, Mars. Uranus and Neptune are composed of very different substances, and it's curious too that Neptune is the fourth largest planet in our solar system. It's still a little bit of Neptunian deception there, because I believe recently there was some debate between which planet is larger, Uranus or Neptune. It's really hard to tell, considering that Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto weren't discovered until... When was Uranus discovered? By, I believe, William Herschel in the late 1700s, maybe 1800s, I'm not sure. The last couple, like 300 years or so. Which is interesting to note because of the Aquarian Age and whatnot, and that the aspects of that in the last 300 years. But if you want to check out that, it's a whole other video. It's actually, I think it's just called the Aquarian Age. But Neptune was discovered, I believe, in the 1800s as well. I'm not quite sure exactly when, but I know it was recently. And it's fascinating that it took us so long to discover Uranus and Neptune, considering just how monstrously huge they are. I think they're about like 3,000 Earths or something. It's just insane how large they are in comparison to the other planets. And we had no idea that they were there up until recently, which is so Neptune, and I guess even Uranus for you. But especially that trickster, deceptive Neptune. I find it fascinating that both Neptune, especially Neptune, but Uranus too, are just rather their composition. being of a liquid mantle of hydrogen and helium, and being very different from the gas giants of Jupiter and Saturn. Just, I mean, obviously they're very far away, and as per our perception, but really it's curious that they're so vastly different, considering that astronomically speaking they are next to the gas giants. And I find it very stimulating to think that Neptune being so affiliated with the subconscious, with Piscean energies, which is absolutely the subconscious emotions, understanding the world and life, the universe, from a subjective point of view. I find it very curious, considering the composition of Neptune being mostly water. Well, I suppose it's not. Maybe it is water? I'm not sure. Liquid, hydrogen, and helium. I need to learn more of my chemistry. But I find it very, very stimulating, considering the work of, oh man, Neptune is this mess. I can't remember his name, but there's a Japanese scientist who studied the effects of emotions on water, and seeing what it would be like if you supported water with positive energies, love, saying to a water bottle, "Oh, I love you, yay, hug, yay, love, affection," as compared to negative energies of hate and anger and violence and whatnot. And they studied the water at its molecular level, and it actually I don't know if it was molecular level, but through a microscope at least, and it showed very different composition, very different structure. And indeed, the one with love and happiness and joy was very beautiful. It had all these different structures and all these different incredible harmony to it. And the one with hate was this very negative. And considering that we're made of mostly water, it's very interesting to think of this planet being out there that is interacting with us and stimulating such water energies in our lives. What could happen, I wonder, if we could tap in to Uranus as well, but even more so Neptune, emotionally, if we could tap in consciously as a planet and send positive waves throughout our own world, of course, having so much hydrogen, but even more so Neptune, considering it's so vastly larger than the Earth. What could happen? For me, I see water as a kind of transmitting fluid, for exactly the reason of that study. And indeed how just emotions, how I've observed emotions to work in this life. The law of attraction, positivity breeding positivity, negativity breeding negativity. I feel like there's so much more to discover about all the planets and ourselves, but especially Neptune and Uranus, being of this very different composition, of this huge size, of being outer planets. And I want to say, let's see, Jupiter is 1 AU is the distance from the Earth to the Sun. Jupiter's 5 AU, so 5 times as far as us from the Sun, that's where Jupiter is. Saturn is 10 AU, Neptune 20, Uranus 30. Believe. Oh, this Neptune video. My statistics. But no, I'm pretty sure. I talked about this in another video too. I know for sure Jupiter, Saturn. Oh, hell, let's just look it up. It'd take too long. Essentially, it's really far away. Let's go with that. And I'm pretty sure it's accurate, actually. 5, 10, 20, 30. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 30 AU away. In any case, it's very far away. And it's very stimulating to think what could happen, again, if we tapped into that circuit. Being water being so transmitting in its very energy. What messages could we send out to the universe? to the outer reaches of our solar system, the Kuiper belt, the asteroid belt that exists beyond Neptune, where Pluto is enjoying itself. What could we explore here into the depths of our oceans, into the depths of our psychological oceans, our psyches, if we use Neptunian energy, if we send energies to that planet, it transmitting back here? Well, it's possible. There's so much more than I think we realize. And exploring that would be absolutely wonderful. Honestly, if we don't explore it, we risk facing the lower parts of Neptune, the challenges of Neptune, of addiction, deception, of emotions being used for very negative ends, very challenging ends. And indeed, emotions using us more than us using them. That's why with Piscean people, the people of Neptune, that's why you see either they are truly, and of course, not to put them in two different camps, because I think we all go from one end, one higher, rather from the lower orders of energies to the higher energies. But you can definitely see it with Pisces, those who are eaten alive by the lower vibrations of Neptune, rather the lower potentials. It's not like Neptune's forcing us to do this. Again, it all comes down to us. We are the ones absorbing. We are the material incarnations that are interacting with these planets, that indeed we're star stuff, as Sagan said. We are the same composition of these planets. Maybe not exactly, of course, but ultimately it's in us. And lower order of Neptune is spiral, just a downward spiral, truly. And the upward is the amazing spirituality, unconditional love, the collective unconscious that Pisces as an energy represents so well. And that we all have access to, even the most pragmatic, earthy person, or the most airy, logical, intellectual person, or the most fiery, creative person. We all have access to Neptune. We all have that energy somewhere in our lives. In my studies of this planet, like I said, it took me a long time to discover Neptune for myself, in myself. And Neptune energy is difficult to grasp logically. It is difficult to understand in a purely intellectual format. But if you discover this energy, if you explore it, its placement, its house in your life, in the aspects, you unlock more energy than I can even express in words. You unlock more love and understanding of yourself, of just the world. Again, that Neptunian spirituality, that Neptunian collective unconscious perspective. So I really encourage you to study your Neptune energy, keeping in mind just how powerful it is, just how mysterious it is. We have so much more to discover with this planet and its potential here on Earth. And I urge you to rise to the top of its potential instead of the bottom. As with every energy, but especially Neptune, I find it critical that we do so. Because Neptune can really make if we're not aware, the energies that Neptune is putting out can be very challenging and make a big mess of things. And it can make us completely subjective. In both beautiful ways as well, but So, I think there's a lot more to discover about Neptune, but that's all I know for now. Namaste.